a minute to make sure we're ready.
I'm Seidel. I'm Liebell-McLean. I'm McCarty.
I'm Liebell-McLean.
And the title of our play is An Unfit King for a New Age.
If I, James of England, a good Catholic, cannot rule this country, then no one will. No law shall be passed, and no king crowned without this great seal of England.
Begone, you foul tyrant. Thrown away the seal cannot halt the engines of government. I am William of Orange, I am fit to rule England.
Only I am fit to rule by divine right.
On the contrary, Father, as your daughter, I am fit to rule with my husband, William. We have the consent of Parliament and the people. You, Father, are a most unfit king.
This is a scene from the end of the Glorious Revolution in England, 1689. One king, William of the Netherlands, invades the country of another king, James II of England. Although it appears to be a story of conquering and betrayal, it is really a fundamental change in the governmental ideas in England. But how did this change begin? An English coffee house, May 1688.
It's been 30 years since the violent Civil War, when we finally figured out how to have some peace between the Tories, who support a strong king, and Whigs like me who support Parliament. And now that tyrant King James II is king. And even worse, he's a Catholic.
Well, we might disagree about James, but he rules by divine right.
The divine right of kings is a belief held by many, especially the Tories, that kings are fit to rule by the will of God.
He didn't rule justly. He pretended he was God's choice. Government is not by the divine right, but by the sovereign rule of the people. Kings should follow the social contract.
The social contract is a theory created by the philosopher John Locke, who right now is in exile in Amsterdam for his writings. The people create the sovereign to protect their freedmen rights. The Whigs believed that once the king breaks his contract, he is a tyrant and should be removed from his position.
Without divine right, there will be instability and more civil war. The problem with James isn't power. The problem is that he's a Catholic.
Catholics are not the problem. We have been persecuted by the Church of England for a very long time. Take the Test Acts, preventing us from serving in the military and government. Is that fair? Now James is giving Catholics the same rights as Anglicans. Too bad that he does not have a male heir. Mary, a Protestant, will succeed James.
Yes, we are rather safe because James' wife conceived easily, but she loses the babies before birth. I'm confident Mary will be queen. We Tories love Mary as much as you Whigs love rebellion. Let's just support the tyrant William Mary.
Here's the rights of the people.
The Court of James II, June 1688.
It's been 3 years since Monmouth's attempt to overthrow me. That traitor has been executed, and I'm moving England forward to create a great state. I've repealed the Test Acts and removed more of my opponents from power. And now, my beloved wife has given me a son, an heir to the throne. A Catholic dynasty shall rule England as God has decreed.
Truly you rule by the will of God, sire.
My one doubt is that the people, my subjects, are not with me. When I issued the Declaration of Indulgence, the bishops refused to read it to their congregations. I will never gain the complete sovereign power I deserve if my people do not respect me.
Indeed, sire.
King of France is my model for rule, an absolute estate capable of great power. But William, my fool of a son-in-law, and Mary, my once beloved daughter, are on the verge of betraying me. I am doing so much to protect England from France with my standing army.
You have done so much for Catholics for oppression, my lord. Your Declaration of Indulgence permits freedom of worship for Catholics, Jews, Presbyterians, Muslims, and even atheists. There are now no religious oaths to hold military or civil office. No more punishments for not attending the Church of England. Dissenting Protestants love you for this, but the Whigs and some of those dissenting Protestants believe the standing army will be used against Englishmen who you disagree with. The Whigs and Tories hate that you are packing Parliament with your supporters. You have done so much good, my lord, but you have alienated many people in your realm.
The priest was right. The Whigs had objected to James on the grounds that their rights and property would be invaded. Though the Tories supported James as legitimate heir by divine right and as a strong king, they cringed at allowing Roman Catholics in the army, navy, and universities. When James issued the Declaration, the bishops of England refused to read it to their congregations. James tried the bishops and imprisoned them in the Tower of London. If that wasn't enough controversy for England, there was a new heir. Today is June 30th, 1688, and 7 men, the immortal 7, gathered to write a letter to William of Orange. William Cavendish and 3 other Whigs joined Thomas Osborne, as well as 2 Tories, to determine how to remove the king.
Now that a male heir has been born, we must do something to prevent a Catholic succession. It was all well and good if we were to adore James and then Mary, a Protestant, to take the throne. His son, a Catholic, is now the heir. It is intolerable that James has packed the Parliament with his supporters. We can have an actual king and preserve our rights as Englishmen.
But you must remember, he is the legitimate king.
No, sir, I beg to differ. A king is legitimate because he serves the sovereign people of England by protecting their rights. The king's power is not based on divine right, but on a social contract. The people agree to a sovereign who will protect them and rule fairly. Once the king breaks his promise, breaks the contract, he is no longer rightful king of England. Nay, he's a tyrant. The king has seized our property. We have the right to liberty, to resist power, to choose our own governors. We need a strong parliament and a decent king. A balanced power that will preserve our English liberties. The natural law says we must remove James.
I don't like the idea of Parliament and the king sharing power. It will lead to another civil war. Though I hate this so-called king, I cringe at what you propose. Do you remember the violence after the beheading of Charles? Can we afford that again?
Can we afford 2 generations of Catholic tyranny?
No, indeed we cannot. But I do not see how we maintain order and remove James unless we can replace him with a rightful heir to the throne, someone that will be respected by the people, the Church of England, and the lords, not to mention the new property-owning gentry, who? Wait! Mary might rule.
Yes, her husband William is a very enlightened king.
Bah, William.
William has reasons for wanting to join the power of England and Holland. He might accept. William.
And Mary.
The 7 men, Whigs and Tories, wrote a 3-page letter to William asking him to invade England and assume the throne with James's daughter, Mary.
How does this sound? The people are dissatisfied because their religion, liberties, and properties have been invaded by the government. The majority of them are desirous of change and would revolt if they had the protection to support their revolution. They wish to defend themselves, but need to know that they will not be destroyed if they try.
The greater part of nobility and gentry are dissatisfied. They would join your highness at your first landing. Your highness would care if the people, lords, and gentry would be able to support the rebellion against James. Mary, I do believe that I am ready. I've been ready since before the heir was born. A Protestant England together with the Netherlands can defeat Catholic France. I've amassed 60 warships, 4,000 horses, 1,500 troops, and 1 printing press. That should be enough.
On the contrary, Father, as your daughter, I am fit to rule with my husband William. We have the consent of Parliament and the people. You, Father, are a most unfit king.
Although the Glorious Revolution appears to be a story of conquest, betrayal, and the restoration of the monarchy, it is really a radical change in English government. Divine right of kings was replaced by social contract. Parliament, people, gentry, and nobles reacted to absolutism by reforming the English government. The constitutional monarchy and framework of the Glorious Revolution later inspired the American Revolution and its Bill of Rights.
So my question is, the reign of William and Mary relatively short compared to a lot of